just about. Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Now stand and raise your hand.
Next item on the agenda is to give the oath of office to our new city councilman, Kevin Fayok.
I state your name.
I, Kevin Fayok,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I am a citizen of the United States
that I am a citizen of the United States
and the state of Washington,
and the state of Washington,
that I am legally qualified
that I am legally qualified
to assume the office of council member,
to assume the office of council member,
that I will support the Constitution and laws
that I will support the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Washington,
and the state of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of this office
discharge the duties of this office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
You can take your chair.
Thank you, Councilman Fayok. Welcome. We're glad to have you on the council. The next item is roll call of the other council members, and if Connie Myers could please
Julie?
give that.
Julia's here.
Lauren,
Present.
Shannon,
Here.
Andy,
I'm here.
Phil,
I'm here.
Myland.
I'm here.
Cool.
That's probably
Full council.
Very good. So we have a full council, and we welcome Kevin to this city council as one of our members. We're glad that you've come. The next item on the agenda, I think I better take this off. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda and the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to that effect?
This is Lauren. I'll make a motion to approve. This is Shannon. I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the agenda for this meeting and the consent agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
The next item on the agenda is the department reports. And we'll ask our Goldendale Police Department Chief, Jay Hunziker, to give his report.
Okay. Over the weekend, we did have an incident that involved a DV, no contact order violation, which led to a search warrant to obtain the subject and put him under arrest. Everything was executed just perfectly and had no problems, and so that was taken care of. We're also at the police department, myself and Sergeant Smith, we're researching information on replacing the school lights because the ones we have are outdated, right, and just for the future, but we are looking into that. Nothing at traffic safety grants are available for those just yet, but we're looking at what kind of equipment we have because they're getting old.
Sure.
We're getting old. And then everything's going smooth at the department with the change, so all officers have got good morale. And the building is soon getting new blinds, which are much needed because we have large gaps in our windows, and at nighttime that makes the police officers, if they're in the office, very visible, so we're happy with that. But other than that point, we're still running pretty smooth and no problems, so we're doing good.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the report. I'd like to give just a brief reminder on the fire department. Noah's not here, but we met with him this afternoon. He said there were not any fires over the weekend in Goldendale. There were fires in the state and in the county. And we had 2 fire trucks assisting in a fire on the Yakima Nation Reserve, and also another one on another fire there. So they have 2 fires on the Yakima Nation territory, and so they earn money by doing that. There's a certain amount of money that they can bill for the use of that truck, and that helps our fire department. But the other item, the thing that Noah advised me of as we finished discussing the different activities of the fire department, that he reminded me that there are 6 pretty major forest fires in Washington State alone, and probably every bit that many in Oregon. And we need to be aware that because all of those fires are going on and they're drawing trucks and firemen from other communities to help fight those fires, that if we have a fire here, we may be pretty short on resources. We'll have our volunteers and our trucks and everything, but we wouldn't necessarily have other cities able to come and help us if it was a serious fire. So I just want to remind everybody that fire safety is everyone's concern and everyone's responsibility. Watch carefully and be safe, each one of you. The next item on the agenda is council business, and I'd like to present Police Chief Jay Hunsaker, who I've appointed as police chief, but it needs the confirmation of our city council members. I'm going to give a little bit of background, and then we can take that action. As you remember, Reggie Markowski gave us notice that he was being transferred, or he had accepted a position in Florida, and he's reported to Florida for that job. And it's a law enforcement position, and apparently from Reggie's remarks, quite a challenging position as well. Following Reggie's departure, I appointed Sergeant Jay Hunsaker as the interim chief of Goldendale Fire Department, and he accepted an offer of employment earlier this week to become our next fire chief. Now, Chief Hunsaker has served more than 20 years in Goldendale, and something like 18 of those years, I believe, he was the senior sergeant in the department. He's worked under several other Goldendale fire chiefs, police chiefs, during that time, and I particularly want to express my support for confirming Chief Hunsaker for this position of chief of police of the Goldendale Fire Department, police department. Boy, I have fire on my mind tonight. Police, everybody. I know Jay. I've known him ever since I've been in city government. He's a very solid, very reliable, and very competent and well-trained policeman. He's been senior sergeant for quite a number of years, and he does a great job. And as far as staff recommendation, I would recommend that he be confirmed as the next police chief of the city of Goldendale. And it'll be up to the councilors to voice their view on this.
I move to confirm the mayor's appointment of Jay Hunsaker as chief of police. This is Shannon. This is Phil. I'll second that.
Any other comments or statements? If not, then it's been moved and seconded to confirm Jay Hunsaker as Goldendale Chief of Police. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
With have you. We appreciate all the service you've already given to this city, and we know it's going to be great in these coming years too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will give it 100%.
I know you will. Thank you.
you.
The next item is a resolution for the City Council, and it's on the Klickitat County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan, and our City Administrator, Larry Bellamy, will present this over the telephone. Larry?
Okay, this is a Klickitat County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan, which has been worked on by several people in the emergency management arena. And this is for an administrative acceptance and adoption by each of the cities, along with the county, that we're all working together to serve the citizens of Klickitat County and the three cities. And this is one of the key sentences in the letter from FEMA with regard to the multi-hazard mitigation plan is that once this plan is approved, then the jurisdictions within that county are eligible to apply for FEMA hazard mitigation assistance grants. So this is a key element of being able to apply for those mitigation assistance grants, which will just be another tool in our arsenal to take advantage of when the time is right. But I would recommend that the council adopt this resolution 711, declaring support and adoption of the Klickitat County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Thank
I
you,
move
Larry.
to adopt resolution number 711, declaring support and adoption of the Klickitat County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan. This is Sharon.
Do we have a second?
This is Bill, and I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution number 711, declaring support and adoption of the Klickitat County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Was that a for or against?
No, it was an aye.
It was an aye. Okay, very good. Thank you. The motion passes unanimously. The next item on the agenda is the report of officers and city administrator, and we'll begin with Larry Bellamy to give his report, including some very good news for Goldendale.
Yeah, that news is regarding the airport fuel system grant agreement. I think we've been working on this for quite a few months, but we've been able to complete all of the pieces of the planning and environmental threshold requirements that we needed to take care of before the state would allow us to even execute a grant agreement with the Department of Commerce. So basically we had to do all the SEPA, environmental work, the architectural, the archaeological, and historic preservation documents have consultation with the tribe. There was a whole laundry list of threshold requirements that we had to meet before we could even be eligible to be ready for a grant agreement. We were able to get all of that done, and we now have that agreement. And now we just have to begin the process of accepting and approving that grant agreement, reviewing it, getting it signed and in place. So at the next council meeting, we'll have a resolution for the council, and then we will also have a presentation of the contract for design and construction of the field system. We do need to kind of keep things moving because ultimately we need to be finished by next summer, but we need to take advantage of the time we do have to get plans together and construction and the delivery of the fuel system to the city. There is still kind of a thing hanging out there also, and that is that before we can get a building permit, we have to get a conditional use approval by the Klickitat County. The property was zoned industrial park, and airport uses were considered, they were considered as a conditional use, so we had to apply to the Clickstack County Board of Adjustment for conditional use. And because of COVID-19, we have to wait for those restrictions on public hearings to be lifted before we can actually get that conditional use. So we have everything in place with Clickstack County. We're just awaiting their decision on when to start those public hearings. So that's a great stepping stone for that airport fuel system, and we'll get that contract signed, that contract grant agreement signed here quickly. So the other thing I wanted to mention was I've been getting quite a few calls about street lights at various places around the city, being on and on when the time was when they were supposed to be on, or they're out and they can't, and it's too dark or whatever. But the software company that the city used when we initially constructed the street lighting control system, that particular company has discontinued their business operations. So we need to find a new operator, and we're currently trying to identify a company that we can hire that will reestablish the computer system so that we can talk and communicate with the lights via the computer that we have set up for that. And we're working closely with Radcom to find the right company that we can hire to have control of the system again. I just want to let you know that if people talk to you about that, you can certainly refer them to me if you want, or if you want to just tell them that we're working on it and we're trying to find a new software provider that will allow us to have control of that system again. Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you, Larry. I'll now call on the council members one by one if you have statements or questions or comments of any kind. We'll begin with Julie.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to take a moment to remind everybody that Friday is September 11th, the 19th anniversary of the terrorist attacks that occurred in New York City, Pennsylvania, and Washington, D.C. It's called the National Day of Service and Remembrance, recognizing first responders. So I would like just to make sure that we recognize our first responders in the county, from dispatch to the police department and fire department. I would also like to tell you that the governor has declared it 911 Day. It was considered 911 Day prior to the attacks, and it's sort of gone by the wayside in honor of 9/11. But the governor has declared this Friday as 911 Day in Washington, thanking all the dispatchers and first responders who take the first call for help. So I would just like to recognize that, and congratulations for the confirmation. I appreciate you, and I think you'll be a great asset to that position.
Thank you, Julie. Lauren?
Yeah, I was just curious to know what the status is of the work to try and incentivize some residential construction. We talked about that during our last council meeting, and I was curious to know what our plan is to try and develop some way to equitably put out the opportunity to incentivize any residential construction.
I think that's probably a question for Larry and Justin. I don't believe Justin's available tonight, but Larry, can you reply to Lauren's question?
Yes, I can. We actually talked about it. I briefly talked about it with Justin and the mayor to see what options are available out there. And we will have to do a more formal, in-depth study of that and probably talk with MRSC and our attorney, find out what options we do have in that regard. So I don't have a report for you tonight. Actually, also, I think Dana Peck brought it up at the last meeting as well. And so we can maybe use him as a resource as well. But I don't have anything to report to you tonight. I really would like to get together together and start talking about those issues.
Yeah, I'd love to participate in that meeting, and I guess my involvement with council started in the neighborhood here with, and agreement between the comprehensive plan and our city code, and we should probably get any loopholes wrapped up in that city code versus the comprehensive plan as well before we try and incentivize residential construction.
Agreed, I think that's a great idea.
All right, thanks, Larry.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate that. Next, Councilman Shannon.
Yeah, I had just kind of one thing, maybe Larry would know, if they offer like any grants to cities like ours who are lacking daycare centers.
Well, I can answer that, but I think Mike has some answers to that as well. He's been working with Washington Gorge Action Committee, and they actually, I believe, Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that they were able to secure a $100,000 grant to help with proposing or help with expenses related to planning for a child care center in Goldendale. But Mike, maybe you want to chime in on that.
Certainly will. Thank you, Larry. The WAGAP has money that comes from different government agencies and other types of support for action programs. And they received a $100,000 grant, a very tough grant to get, but they got the full amount. And it is for a child care center in Goldendale. And we've already had one person express interest in finding out more about it with the hope of setting up a child care center here. As we go through this process, we'll keep you informed, and those things that require council support and clearance, we'll certainly give all to our council. But we're in a good place. That's a very timely thing to have a child daycare center in this city. We've not had one for quite a while. Thank you, Larry. Next councilman to invite to speak would be Andy.
Yeah, Mike, I have two things. First thing, I want to say congratulations to Jay. I know you're going to do a great job, and this thing's probably hard work.
Thank you. Thank you
Second
very much.
thing, I just want to thank our community for coming together to honor Bruce Holcomb. I thought it was a great turnout for everything, and just want to say thank you to everyone. And that's it.
Thank you, Andy. Shannon, did I cut you off?
No, I was just gonna say that I had a couple people that were kind of interested in possibly opening a daycare center, but they were trying to figure out property and if there was any type of grants that would through the city that they could possibly get to help to open one. And I know it's a huge demand here in Goldendale, actually in the whole county, but here in Goldendale, and especially now with school the way it is and different things, we really need a daycare center of some sort here in Goldendale. And I just wanted to welcome the new council member, and
Thank you.
congratulate Jay.
Thank you.
That's all I had.
Thanks, Shannon. Sorry to cut you off. Phil Ontiveros?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Yes, welcome to our new council member, and big congratulations to Chief Hunsaker.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited working with him. I know he's going to do a great job.
Thank you.
And also I want to take the opportunity to go back to the fire situation with the multiple fires across the state. In one of the meetings I attended this morning, communities around the state, the whole town of Winthrop and other towns being completely evacuated due to fires, and report that there is firefighters in those communities, and there's not enough firefighters in the state for them to receive additional support. So I'd like to invite everybody in the community to look into opportunities of volunteering to one of the fire departments. We have Rural 7, we have City of Goldendale Fire, and there's multiple positions on either department or even in Centerville for support staff, firefighters, EMS service. And I know back in the day there was many of the businesses, and just a few of them still allowed their employees to take a break and respond to those calls during the day when they're working. I know that was a big, huge thing here in Goldendale in the past, and I'd like to ask the business owners to consider that possibility that you may have employees or future employees that join the fire departments and consider that opportunity to allow them to volunteer and respond when it allows for work, obviously. But definitely like to invite everybody to join in. The departments here do a really, really good job at keeping the fires at bay and taking care of them really fast, but volunteers are needed in all departments. That's all I have.
Thank you, Phil. That's an excellent comment and an excellent statement to make. And Phil is a person that does everything I know of by example. Both he and his wife serve on the Goldendale Volunteer Fire Department, as well as at the 911 Center. They're very incredibly involved family. We're going now to Mylan Walling.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'd like to make a comment. Phil, appreciate you bringing that up. I'm still on the board of volunteer firemen and reserve officers, and it's true that all fire departments in the state, always want to try to get more volunteers. Now, on the volunteer firemen and reserve officers board, we are increasing the retirement, but also I've been pushing for the last several years of incentives for becoming a volunteer fireman. But I was moving, but then with this coronavirus hit, well, things just kind of been put on hold, but I still want to plan on pushing this a little more because we definitely need more volunteers. I also wanted to bring up Larry. It's great news that the airport is moving. Do we, after it's signed, agreement is signed, and contract is signed, do we need to have a airport board meeting sometime to talk in more future of it?
We can talk more future. I'd like to combine that meeting with, a review of the final, like a 50% review of the plans and specifications that the consultant has put together so that we can all be on the same page and give everybody an opportunity to say, no, I don't want that here, or I want that there, or something like that. We can combine that with, as you indicated, future discussion about where the airport is going and what things we need to do next.
Yeah. Okay. Then again on potholes.
Yeah, I talked to Doug Franklin, and he said that they were going to be doing potholes here in the very near future.
Great.
Probably this week or next.
Okay, very good. Also, I'm having a lot of, maybe it's my phone, but I'm having a lot of feedback. Am I the only one on this, having this problem? Are the other council members okay?
Is that what that clicking noise is?
Yes.
No, you're the only one.
That was on, okay.
I'm hearing the same thing on my phone. This is Andy.
So I didn't know if that was my phone or perhaps the mic or whatever.
Well, it only does it when you turn your phone on.
Okay. Okay, anyway, that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mylan. Appreciate your help too.
It goes away when I shut it off.
As far as a remark from the mayor, I have just one brief remark. Julie has already covered it actually, but if you have a chance this Friday, that's the 11th of September, that's our 911 commemoration of the attack of the Twin Towers in New York City. Think back to when you heard that announcement, when you watched it on TV, when you realized the enormity of that tragic attack and all that has ensued since then. And just go back over it so that it stays fresh. We need to remember what happened when a little bit of our guard was let down and see the progress that we're trying to make. But I was overseas for the 911 when it happened, and the countries that contacted me expressing strong support for the people of the United States was incredibly touching, and I really appreciated the way they reached out. They could not imagine that would have happened to us, but it had, and they were very, very supportive. The next item on the agenda is the public comment. I'm not sure if we have anybody on the line that wants to make a comment, but if so, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Anyone there that would like a public comment, to make a comment?
Yeah, this is Becker.
This is who?
Go ahead.
Another hashtag group by Norman. Mistake, M-I-S-T-E-R-E-K. And I'd like to make a comment.
Thank you. Please do.
I have a comment real quick on the traffic through 21st Street, and wonder if there's a way that we can maybe slow them down a bit. Because we got kids out here, we got animals almost got hit and everything, including myself. So is there a way we can do that, Mr. Mayor?
Ventnor, this is Chief Hans Eichert. One thing that we can
Yeah,
do,
hey there, Jay.
hello. One thing that we can be doing, we can increase patrols in the area, but if you're seeing speeding vehicles, please give us a call and try to get a license plate number. But one thing also we can do is we can bring up the radar trailer and position it up there to just as an alert to everybody for speed. So we'll work on that, and I'll get at least the radar trailer up there very soon. Okay?
All right, thank you so much, Jay. And I wanted to tell you that you are doing a wonderful job as best you can through my mouth too. So.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Keep up the good work, guys. And also, I want to make another good comment, though, real fast before I hang up here, is about Bruce Holcomb Day. That was a wonderful turnout. It was awesome. And I was there. It was great.
Thank you. I think it was an important thing for the city to observe, and I'm glad that it worked so well.
Oh, yeah. You know, because, like with me, I get a little upset about that, but people don't slow down. So, you know what I mean? It's just been really irritating for everyone, I'm sure.
Okay.
So, like Jay said, we'll see what we could do on that through him. We'll figure out a way.
Very good. Thank you for your comment.
Thanks a lot there, guys. You guys have a wonderful evening, and thank you for accepting my comments, and you have a wonderful evening. God bless.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Take care, guys.
Thank you. Anyone else
You
on the
too.
line for public comment? I don't hear of any other If not, we'll ask for a motion to adjourn city council meeting for September 8th, 2020. Do we have that
This
motion?
is my, I so move.
Who was it?
Mylan.
Oh.
This is Julie, I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn city council meeting for September 8th, 2020. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. There's never a nay.